Hey, ladies. Hi, ladies.
Good evening. How y'all doing tonight?
What's going on? Everything
Good,
good?
good. Like always.
It's
Excited for tonight's show.
it's another Thursday, and we are in March, y'all.
Yes.
Already.
Child, we are in March.
Yep.
We are in
March
March.
9th.
Like it literally, like this year is going by so fast already.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, you blink and it's like end of the month.
Yep.
It's insane, but we're here.
hmm
We are here. We are here on Thursday. We got some people that's joining. Hey, Nicole, how are you, love? How are you? If you are on, number one, make sure that you're liking the show. Make sure that you're putting something in the comments so that we know that you are there because we are talking to you while you are on the line. And then go ahead and share this show. We've got a good conversation for today, and I think it's gonna be great. What do y'all think?
Yeah. It's gonna be pretty good.
So it is National Women's Month. Yesterday was International Women's Day. And so we are talking about influence, the power of influence, and specifically influence of the women that we've had in our lives or that we have experienced or we have had, just in our overall lives in every area, not just in one but in all areas, because as you know, from the time period you're birthed into this world, you have been influenced by a woman. And so we are going to talk about the influence that women in our lives have given us. Co-pastor say hello. Nikki said gathering info for the wedding stressful is an understatement. I get it. I'm helping my girlfriend get married or with the planning of her wedding, and it's in May. um, and it's stressful for me, and it's not me. So I can only imagine doing it for your own wedding. Hey, brother, how are you? Good to see you. Love to see you all on the line. Love to see the men on the line always. This is not just a conversation for ladies. This is a conversation for men. We got Sister Love on the line. Hey, Sister Love. While we are on, let's go ahead and first do introductions, and then I am going to turn it over to Shanita to go with questions. First and foremost, I'm Dina Jefferson, and I am the popcorn queen. I am the popcorn queen. Um, hello, hello, hello. We'll
Yeah.
get there though.
Yeah, we've gotten that out the way. I am Kiana Kirkland.
You know, popcorn comes from corn, so she's also the queen of corny. But I love her.
Just because it was for her. Wait, which way?
That's okay. That's okay. I give you.
That's okay.
She beat Kiana. That's all I cared about.
I beat you too. Now what?
I am Passion Jefferson.
And I am Shanita Walker, and I'm just excited to be in the top 5 because I didn't think that was going to be possible. So I was just fighting to be in the top 5.
Shanita,
Huh?
you kept coming for my neck.
I was. We was there. I'm like, oh, she gave me that $4. Let me get on the time.
I said in my mind, I said, Shanita probably thought in her back of her mind, as long as I beat Passion, because it was just like I would get 10 minutes, literally 10 minutes before the popcorn sale closed. I got a sale. I was like, cool, I'm top 5. I got it. I look back. This one, she all the way up there. I'm like, okay, all right, leave me alone.
No,
Shout
see,
out to my baby. He sealed the deal. I love you, Dad.
let me just go ahead and add this real quick because that sale ended at 7 o'clock, and somebody put through $300 worth of sales trying to come for my neck at 6:58. And so I had one ace in the hole that took me over at 6:59. And then I got a call at 7 o'clock and 58 seconds. But I don't know who that could have been.
When God is good, people gonna hate all over. They're always going to question how God does what He does. It's not for me or for you to know where it came from.
Let me tell you something. Let me
God
tell you
is
something.
good.
I know where it came from.
You're not in the top 5.
Let me tell you something.
For four strong
when
days.
You can pay people to buy popcorn.
Baby, I thought that was the whole point of popcorn.
No. No.
Let me just say this. The popcorn sale was so successful
Yeah.
that even after our sale, I had people still wanting popcorn.
Same.
and
I had somebody hit me up today about
I had
popcorn.
Two
Yeah.
people was like, "Are you still selling popcorn?"
Yeah.
Today.
So that's what made my heart feel really, really good. Of course, thank God I made the top 5 because that was my goal. But
Not
just
one,
to
but
see
top
excited.
5.
Well, when I looked on there and saw that, by the time I opened my store, I think you was already at $700. I knew then. I said, "Well, Lord, number 2."
Not me.
You know what was
Didn't feel that
the gut punch?
I
The
was
gut
at 0.
punch. The gut punch was when you reach out to people and they say, "I already bought from Dina." Like I literally started punching the air. Like everything.
The sale opened at 7 a.m. I was sending text messages at 7 a.m. and 54 seconds.
Mine flooded on after church on Sunday. It
Yeah.
just got
I
ridiculous.
blinked and I was like, where did Kiana come from?
Yeah, it
Where did she
just got
come from?
crazy. It got crazy.
We
on
know where
Sunday.
it came from.
You
And I
don't
want
have
to
it
shout
because
out
you
too.
didn't
You
get
know
that.
who I want to shout out? I want to shout out Shantae.
Yeah.
Tay-Tay. Shout out to Tay-Tay. I want to shout out Mother Mac because these
Second time.
they was working.
Mother Mac.
Yes.
Mother Mac was another one.
When I
And she opened her sale late.
when I seen the participation of the,
Yes.
I was just shocked. Period.
Yeah.
I mean, the support of what women do when we come together.
And that is what this show is about, to bring it all back. That is exactly what this show is about. The power of influence and how we influence each other. We can push each other forward and we can tear each other back down. So I'm still, this is my crown.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, we're ready to start the show now.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
We got
A win is still a win. A win is a win. I don't care if it's by 5 cents. A win is a win.
We got a question about True Light Women. I hope none of you all answered with Dina, because if you did, scratch your notes now and go ahead and we'll get to that one next.
It's way more better women than to pull me out that name. I would look at you sideways if you called my name. Real talk. Like you could find nobody else.
Let's go right. Like Winter was available. I mean, all kind of people. I'm sorry. Okay, let me get through this.
Y'all, you know what? Leave my guy babies out of this. Kiana.
I'm just saying it was other people.
Didn't they do their thing though? I'm sorry to cut y'all off, but they did their thing.
They did. They were reading them teleprompters for Jesus. Do you hear me?
Let me tell you, Kiana is probably the Joe Jackson of her family.
You are what we call a hater. When Logan comes of age, you will see.
Can we start the show now?
Okay, let's go.
Because as fast as we talk about empowering and building women up, y'all chop each other right. It's like,
that's Tasha and Dina. They started it.
I'm going with the questions because y'all turning our audience off. All right, ladies. Who are some women in history you've admired? Who are some women in history you admire? And with this being Women's History Month, I want to throw in there, an audience, of course, audience, please participate tonight because this is for all of us. But I want to throw in that they don't have to necessarily be Black women, because I know we a lot of the time focus in on Black women, but who are some women that we admire in history, whether they were Black or non-Black or non-African American? I'm sorry.
Well, mine is Black. I'm just saying. Mine is Black. It's just what it is. And I love this woman. She has a powerful testimony. And that is Viola Davis. I love that woman. She's come from a background where she was raped, right? She was like poor, like really poor. They lived in a shack. And she just got an EGOT, which she has a Emmy, she has a Grammy, she has a Tony, she has an Oscar. For those of you who don't know what an EGOT is, there's only two women, I want to say Black women, that has that, and she is one of them. And she is just the things that she has accomplished over her career, the things that she refuses to like to not do, like, for the sake of like doing. Okay, there's some people who are like, okay, I'm an actor, I'm gonna do this and do this. There's some things she has boundaries, you know what I mean? And that just really, and I'm speaking like from a career aspect. Of course, there are plenty of women that I admire, but I'm talking about as it relates to my career, what I'm interested in, and that person is none other than Viola Davis for me.
We got a couple comments. I'll read those before we turn it over to Kiana. It says, my biggest influence is none other than our First Lady. She has been there for me through the toughest and darkest times of my life. And then Nicole also said, former First Lady Michelle Obama, the first African American First Lady and author and lady in every sense. Those are two of mine as well. My mama, my very first influence coming out the womb, that was her. Um, but I'm gonna let Kiana go, and then we can come back to me.
I don't know if she's having technical difficulties, Kiana, but I agree. I also, Nicole. Kiana, you ready? I agree. I also wrote down Michelle Obama. Um, you could just feel that during that time, it was almost like America and beyond what was expecting her to be, this Black woman. Like at any moment she was going, I don't know, curse or grab air or something. You know what I'm saying? You could just feel that they wanted her to do something so that it was stereotypical, or and she handled those years and even now with so much grace and so much elegance, and she gave them nothing. It was nothing that you can say about her. She never did anything that made us drop our heads. She uttered that famous line that when they go low, we go high, which I'm still trying to achieve. I'm still still working on that one. But she just was graceful in that position. She never overstepped. So you never saw her, usurping her authority over her husband or being busy. She was just good in that position. And it was really nice to see a Black woman in that spot. And it was really nice, and no hate towards any other shades, but we know sometimes darker Black women don't get the same love and appreciation. So colorism has always been a big thing in our race. So to see a darker Black woman hold that spot and do it so well, and then the generosity. She was one of those people who wore unnamed designer clothes. Or just she was good in that spot. So yeah, that's who I wrote down, Nicole. Also.
No, I got to go. I got to see her earlier this year. Was it last year? And she talked about exactly that. And when she didn't give them anything, they made up stuff. Oh well, she's too muscular. Oh well, she said I could never wear my hair in braids, because I knew, what the stigma would be if I did. Even down to the way she dressed, her style just cultivated over time because that was something that they made up a problem. And she said, okay, I'll do you one better. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and not only just be the best dressed first lady you've ever seen, but I'm going to launch the careers of some very unknown African American designers who to this day are still booked and busy because of it. And so I agree with you 100%. I'm right there with you. Kiana, you good?
Yeah, it was crazy. I was having technical issues with the laptop. All of a sudden, it just went haywire and it wouldn't let me work. But since you all have taken so many people, I'll say this one. An influence in my life, I would say, an influential woman would be no other than Harriet Tubman. And the why, Pastor, why you laughing? But the reason why I say this is because when you think of women, you think of integrity, you think of strength, you think of courage. You know what she did um, for our people to be able to have some form of freedom and dignity on the back of her own life. That's something amazing. And she didn't take like one or two people, she took thousands and thousands of people on their way to freedom. And so I really, when I think about that, I do think about her. You see things on like, they had this little TikTok trend with her and naming, strong Black African American women. But I honestly believe in that being one of the influences because of that, and because of our resilience, and because of our strength, and because of our our courage. That's who's a great influence to me.
I would say, because I'm gonna go the legal route. Constance Baker Motley. Very few people know who Constance Baker Motley is. She was um, African American woman, grew up not too far from Yale, but never really would have access to be able to go to that school. She ultimately ended up going to college. She ended up clerking even before she became an attorney for, at that point, Thurgood Marshall. And she worked with him on the Brown versus Board of Education case. She then ended up working at the NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund as a staff attorney. And before she was named as a judge, she argued 10 cases in front of the Supreme Court. She won 9, which is unheard of, especially for a Black woman or a person of color. To begin with, she was able to argue 10 cases. Most people don't get in front of the Supreme Court twice. She got in front of the Supreme Court 10 times and won 9 out of the 10. And she was the first African American woman appointed to the federal judiciary in the United States District Judge. She was a United States District Judge in New York. And so she kind of laid the groundwork. I've heard that the character Claire Huxtable was kind of modeled after her. And before I knew anything about Constance Baker Motley, because I didn't learn that during Black History Month, I didn't learn that in history at all. I saw Claire Huxtable as somebody that, oh, she's a Black woman and she's an attorney. So imagine my surprise that, by the time I got to college, I'm learning about these women and these people that I had never heard of in elementary school, junior high, or high school that looked like me, that were doing the work that I wanted to do. And so that sphere of influence is huge. And of course, we're talking about the power of influence. That kind of said, sometimes you have to see that someone else that looks like you can do it in order for you to be able to charge forth and push through to do it.
I agree. I'm gonna move on, but the other one I put down too was Madam C.J. Walker. I always was drawn to her, one, because of the name, but we always focus in on the millionaire piece, which is amazing in itself. But to know that she was such a giver, she supported a whole lot of things, the NAACP and even Mary McLeod Bethune schools, and just a giver. And I think that because we live in it, probably that touched me so much because we live in such a selfish time. When it comes to making money, it's all about me and making my money. And you just stack and stack and stack. But she was a giver, and she spoke out, and so it was the piece about the others that I always loved about her. And just as Kiana said with Harriet Tubman, we talk about leaving the 99 to go back for the one, and I've always admired her as well, to make all of those trips when people watching and looking for you. You know what I mean? That was amazing, right? So just the lack of selfishness, that
To
selflessness.
go into freedom,
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
to be in freedom, and come out of freedom, to
yeah,
go back into a place where you could be back in
yeah,
bondage.
No,
exactly.
you would have been
yeah.
Yep.
So she
forget
was going from
bondage,
freedom to bondage to
murder.
freedom. Yeah,
And she was risking her life every time. Like,
every
one of my
single time.
favorite quotes was from her is that I freed I freed thousands of slaves and I would have or hundreds of slaves and I would have freed more had they known they were slaves. So like
Mhm.
she's
Yep, I
showing,
remember that one. Yep, that's so
Mhm.
powerful.
right?
If
Like it's
I
just
would
like
have known.
right if they would have known that they were in bondage. And so
Mhm.
like, you know what I mean? She kept going back. She kept going back, right? With the hope that, okay, I'm gonna get you this time, maybe I'm gonna get more. Like, you know what I mean? So yes,
Mhm.
definitely Harriet Tubman, Madam CJ Walker. I caught that, Shanita Walker. Um
Yeah, yes, definitely the name. And my mother's initials are CJ, so she's CJ Walker as well. So that always kind of caught my attention, learning about her. But I want to switch it now. We already kind of sort of did it a little bit. What women of true light do you admire, and why? Now, audience, I know you got something to say on this one. Who are the women of true light that you admire? And I know we cannot name every woman. So true light, don't go get all angry and fold your arms up and not speak if your name is not called. Trust me. We love you, and the show is not long enough for us to spotlight every woman, but let's just throw a couple of them out real quick.
So I spoke and I mentioned my mother, and Nicole mentioned my mom, and so I'll start there. My mother has just been the epitome of excellence in my mind. She is graceful, she is elegant, she is intelligent, she is powerful. She is a true woman of God, but she is also a true mother. And she is a true wife and help me. If you are looking to get married, if you are looking, to strengthen your marriage, if you are looking to strengthen your relationship and you need to pattern somebody's life, pattern hers. Um, I love the way that my family worked. My parents work as a team, and I love the way that my mom has always supported us. So she is definitely number one. And then there are three women, for similar reasons, because of their resilience, because of their faith, because of their prayer life, because of their strength, and because of their vulnerability, because they share their story that I'm going to call out. And that is Sister Donna, Sister Tina, and Sister Lena, because I watched them go through what could be the hardest thing for a woman is to lose their husband. And then in the case of Sister Tina, losing the son, and then a year later losing her husband. And where a lot of people would have not made it, they stood in a manner where you could not help but see the God in them, and question, how can I have that kind of relationship? And so those three ladies, they are amazingly strong and powerful, not just in the natural but in the spiritual, because it takes that in order to be able to survive what they survived. And they never skipped a beat. Like, they never skipped a beat. Um, and so I definitely admire those three women.
I guess I'll go. Um I had co-pastor, but I figured she was going to be a popular choice. um and I'll give her flowers. I'm not going to overpass that. So um co-pastor because everything that Dina said on top of that, like, you know what I mean? She is just truly a woman that is selfless. a woman of faith, a woman of love. Like she is like, you know what I mean? She is everybody's mama. Like she really is. Like she just has that thing about her. My friends who are in Chicago, they don't make their way out here as much. And one thing they always say is like, "Oh, your granny's hugs." They're like, "Oh, I needed that. I needed that. I want one of those." And it's like they don't even know her on that level, and they felt that. They felt that motherly love. They felt that woman that's not that hug that she's giving. She's pouring into you as she's hugging you. She doesn't even have to say a word. The hug says it for her. And so like she's just a powerful woman. I look up to her. I love her. Um, in addition to that, I did have some other women that I wanted to highlight at True Light. Um, of course, uh, Dina had one of mine. Sister Tina was one. I just truly, 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 I look at her. She doesn't even realize. I look at her and she's praise dancing and she's doing all this. I just watch her, and she's just like she just never get like you know what I mean. And if she has given up at some point, I never was able to see it. She just kept going, and it just admired me. And I'm like, if she can keep going and keep pushing and keep moving forward, then in my little situation, like I can do this as well. So she has encouraged me in so many ways, more than than she knows. Um, the other person is Mother McCullough. I love her praise. I love her praise. Listen, Mother McCullough will get up. It don't matter where she is. She doesn't matter who is on the pulpit. She doesn't matter who is in the house. She gonna get up. She gonna run. She don't care what kind of shoes she got on. She don't care what's going on. She gonna holler. She gonna do all of that. Like, and I like she is just a woman. Like when I think of True Light, I think of her. Like for so long, I think Deshaun for even so long would even like little Deshaun would mimic her, and I used to be like, that is Mother. He's like, yeah, and it's just like it brings me so much joy. So Mother McCullough, who was the other person that I had, and then who did I say? Tina, Mother McCullough, and Granny. Those are the three that I had. Yeah.
I'm still trying to fight with my laptop. Like, oh yeah, I'm on the phone. But what I would say, I mean, we can name a lot of people. I mean, y'all named everybody. Well, not technically, but what I will say is who I had, and these were two women, were Sister Donna or Mother Donna and Mother Georgia. And the reason why I said that is because when I came to True Light as a new member, I didn't know how to fit in because when you come into a new family and you the new one, it's like where you fit in. I didn't come from that Kojic background, and I really wasn't. True Light was really like that. When they praised, they wouldn't sit down. I'm like, man, nobody's gonna take a seat. But even with that, what I got was the love. It was the embrace, and it was I want to get to know you and I want to talk to you. And for me, that was like, oh, okay, okay. It's not so bad after all. And it was like, hey, it was just always that inviting moment. And I just love Sister Donna for her creativity, her just who she is and her personality. She makes me laugh. Mother McCullough, man. Now, I never knew I had a mother that I could truly laugh with. And Mother McCullough is it. When you learn these saints, man,
He's hilarious.
yes. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, man, it is the best. You can go on and on about it's just so many, it's hard to name a lot of women. I can talk about you guys, how you all have influenced me in multiple ways than one. You all will never know that to the depth in which I appreciate each one of you all. Dina, she drives me crazy, but it's a fuel that passion. That's my it's low key. That's my partner in crime. She don't know it, but she is. And I'm gonna talk about head missionary. Now that wouldn't do too much, but the reason why I respect head missionary is because of her leadership skills, um, her conviction, and all of these women have convictions. But it's hard to just name one person because everybody plays such an intricate part of your life. And if you allow yourself to be open to the family, it is really difficult to pick just one. But if I were to pick these are some of the women that I might, and of course, hands down, it'll always be number one, First Lady Jefferson. Just how she just exemplifies herself as a woman of God. I never understood it until I started walking this walk as a wife. And everything shut down me. But as I walk this walk as a wife, and so I just appreciate her. I appreciate her integrity, and it's just not the rider part, but it's how I ride. A lot of women don't understand that. They look at it like, oh, she just being subservient. It's that's a shallow way of thinking about it. When you're a woman of God and a woman in ministry, it's more to that. And so just because of who she is and things now that I've implemented in my life, not by sometimes conversation, it's just by seeing, I thank God for her.
I totally agree with everything that you all have said, especially the part about picking, because you can literally go down the row.
It was so hard. Like,
it's very.
And I'm so mad Kiana did that and started naming us because that was part of one of my other questions. I'm like, man, she just extra.
Yeah, but you could literally go down the row and talk about what you admire in everyone, because you just can't. Even while I'm just sitting here right now, Tony just popped in my head. Tony Harrell, because Tony refused. I'm talking about a fighter. Oh man, I didn't even have that one written down. That's just one that the Holy Ghost just gave me right now to share. Of course, Sister Jefferson, because everything you all said. Truth is, everything that I said about Michelle Obama, the elegance, the grace, and all of that, is Sister Jefferson. I saw it first at True Light before I ever saw it on the main stage of the world on TV in the White House. I saw it first at my church. But I wanted to add to the discussion. Again, I too put down Mother Georgia. Mother Georgia is so elegant. She is so graceful and so elegant. And I always
classy, okay?
Mother Georgia is real smooth. She's real unassuming, but she is so faithful. She don't want any credit for anything. She's wise, but she's humble. Like, she has all of these qualities, but it's not a showboat quality. Is exactly what Kiana said. You go and sit under her and you will learn and get so many things. And she's sweet as pie. And she can cook.
Including that peach cobbler pie.
she can cook, right? Woo. So I always tell her, when I grow up, I want to be like her, man. Whenever I grow up, whatever day that is, hopefully I could just be a little bit like her. But you know who else I put down? I went back and I had to put down Sister Danielle and Jackie Kenzie.
I saw Sister Jackie yesterday, and I was just, I wanted to cry seeing her.
Yeah.
She was the first person that took me in, Sister Jackie. First person. She's like, I'm adopting you. Come sit up here by me. I'm like, I don't even know you, lady. Like, I was like, I swear. I was like, still in the world. Like, she's like, come on, sit next to me. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Sister Jackie and Danielle, faithful servants. I mean, if you've ever seen a servant, if you ever said, what in the world does serving looks like, right? What does it mean to serve the man of God? What does it mean to serve the Lord? Those two were two examples. I'm talking about coming in early. Sister Jackie would be there, get everything all set up, ironed, and I mean, just had it all together. Anything that she halfway thought Pastor might have wanted, she already had it in her bag. I mean, just anything. He may want a lemon. He may, whatever. Pineapple slices. Like, it was never a time that it was like, oh my goodness, I forgot the. Nope, never. Never. Just faithful, quiet, present, but not present. Like, she had it down. She had it down. Man, just a servant. I can't say it enough. And then Sister Danielle, I don't know, you all did. I know Passion didn't, but Kiana, did you get to meet Danielle? Oh man, Danielle was extremely talented in her own right, but Danielle was a servant. And I talked to Danielle, and I didn't even know Danielle was going through for a long time. Like, we talked because she had the angels, and then I came behind her with the angels. And so Danielle was so faithful. Danielle was extremely faithful, and Danielle didn't have a lot. She did not have a lot, but everything she had, she gave. And when you talking about going through chemo treatments and all of that kind of stuff, but you still show up and sing the solo and bring the house down. I mean, it's my all. Like, I'm literally sitting here about to cry. She gave it all to like the last day, and there was never any complaints. There was never a time where it's like, I'm tired, I had a treat. She didn't even talk like that. I never heard her say anything like that. It was never. She just served. A true servant. And
Truth be told, she never talked about it.
She didn't. I'm telling you, I didn't even know she was sick for a long
late.
time.
Yep.
Yeah. She had been going through, and we never knew. Never missed a choir rehearsal. Never missed. She would praise dance. Remember, she used to dance and stuff.
Never missed the service. None of that.
Never would have thought it. So I had to bring them up. Okay, I'm done. Let me dry my tears so I can read. I ain't got my glasses. So I want to kind of turn the corner a little bit. What are some things that we can do as women to celebrate, uplift, and enhance other women? What are some things that we can do that would allow us to celebrate, uplift, and enhance other women? And I really think we should take some time to answer this one, because sometimes there's that stigma and stereotype that Black women are just ruthless and we tear each other down and all of that, that kind of negativity that I don't believe is us. So let's start to share some things that we can do that will celebrate and uplift other women.
I'm going to say something very simple, but it's so complex and people don't necessarily get it. See each other. It's very simple to see. I know, and that seeing means that I don't care who you are. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what you got, what you don't get. I see you. I think oftentimes, especially in the social media environment, if you don't have certain things on, if you don't talk a certain way, if you don't look a certain way, you're not seen. And so that negates a person. And I think first and foremost, we have to see each other. And in seeing you, I can then take the time to get to know you. Like you said, if you didn't know Sister Danielle, you wouldn't have known that she was going through. And Shanita said it, I talked to her all the time and still didn't know. And I had the relationship, but you saw her. And I think that's big. We have to start seeing each other. Quit putting blinders on for the people that you kick it with. Quit putting blinders on so that you don't see anybody else, that you don't pay no attention to nobody else. Everybody is worthy. God don't discriminate. And so the minute you start to believe that you are better than is the minute you've lost it. You are not where you're supposed to be. No one is better than anybody else, and if we don't measure by what we have and what we don't have, we measure by the fact that you are a child of God, and because of that, I have no choice but to see you. And the next step is have that relationship, get to know each other, because once you get to know each other, as Nicole said, then you can actually support each other. If I didn't know Pat, I wouldn't know that she's a playwright and that she's an actress, which means I can't support her in her endeavors because I don't have a relationship with her and I don't know her. And so I think those are a couple things that are very important.
I'll go next. I thought about that when Dina said that was one thing for me about seeing each other. The next thing I thought about was being there for. Don't do that, Ivy. Being there for your the ladies or whoever it may be. When we talk about women in the good seasons and in the trying seasons. And a lot of times, and that's just people in general. People hold you down when you're number one. But when you're not so hot and you're not so up, people kind of be like, "Girl, you hear about such and such." So I think that's a great quality that we should have. I also said something about talking about the best qualities of who you are. Basically, you know how sometimes we can see each other and, like, for example, I can see your gifts, I can see your talents, but we have a hard time seeing ourselves. And a lot of times I believe as women we need that encouragement, because sometimes we tend to pick ourselves apart. If I was a little bit like this, or if I had a little bit more of this, or if, it could be whatever. And we need people and women to encourage us in that area where we can feel not just safe, but we can feel vulnerable without letting our so-called insecurities affect us, or you use what I've said against you. And so that's some of the things that I think that we should do for women to help, encourage them.
She's sitting over there chilling and laughing, so I guess that means
I was looking at you. I'm like, we got to have a
no,
serious
it's too late. I didn't get started. You know what? I wrote down a whole lot of things, be honest, with the stuff that you all are saying. But at the end of it all, to celebrate and enhance other women, I really think we need to check ourselves. Because sometimes you have to really look at yourself to say, what is it that's causing me to hate on somebody else? Like, what is it that's keeping me from complimenting or acknowledging or lifting up, or, you know what I mean? That what is it in me that won't allow me to tell you how bad you are? You know what I'm saying? It's something inside of me. And so we always say, turn that searchlight on me, Lord. But for real, turn that searchlight on you. I'm always amazed at my students because it's something in them. The thing that kids do now when there's a fight is they record it. They record it and then they post it and they share it and all of that. And it's for the sole purpose of humiliating the person who loses the fight. But then there are some fights where kids literally are just, they really lose the fight. Like, no questions asked. That kid got, man. And my thing to them is always, what is it in you that don't mind looking at some kid get the crap beat out of them? Like, why don't that disturb you? That don't say anything about the kid that lost the fight. To me, that says there's something in you that don't mind seeing somebody torn down. And I think that's the same with us as women. When you are okay talking about some woman behind her back, or you see somebody do something amazing and she ain't all that. I remember when she used to, something is wrong with you. And so I think in order for us to truly enhance and celebrate and uplift women, if you can't do that naturally, check yourself. Check yourself, because that's not godlike. That means that there's something in there that needs to be dealt with, and truth is brought out. so that you can have that pure heart, and now you can be in a place where you want to see everybody win, and we cheering for everybody, and we love everybody, and we encourage everybody, and we acknowledge everybody. I don't care what it is. I'm rooting for you, but it got to start with what's going on with me that I can't celebrate you.
Yeah, that's good. I wasn't gonna go this route, but Shanita kind of took me there. There was a situation, can't really speak too much on it, that one of my students got involved in, and it was a talk around the school. And I remember, like, when it was going around, everybody's like, ha 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 ha, this person, this person, this person. And I stopped my lesson, and it was a young lady. I stopped my, and it was other young ladies, right? So this is part of me giving this wisdom when I see it. So I'm a connect the dots as I go, because as I'm a woman, these are younger ladies who are going to be in the world. So when I see this issue, I wanted to address it. So they were, talking about this young lady, and I had said to them, why y'all beating her while she's down? And there's like, what you talking about? I'm like, she's already down. She's already feeling the embarrassment, the shame of what is going on. And on top of that, you all won't let it go. You are constantly reminding her of this situation. So why are y'all kicking her while she's already low? And they're like, well, she should have did this, she should have did that, blah, 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 blah. I said, we're all going to come to a point in our lives where we're going to hit rock bottom. And I said to them, you all better pray to God that it's not public. You all better pray to God that your friends don't see it. You all better pray to God that it doesn't play out in front of everybody else, just like how this is playing out. I said, so in that regard, it's probably in your best interest to give grace now, because you are going to be begging for that same grace if that happens to you. And, that led into another conversation. But that was something that I noticed, right? That was something that I experienced in high school and in elementary or middle school and all of that. When something happened with a young lady or whatever, everybody talked about it. Nobody gave them grace. It was always this person this person that. And so if you see something like that, if you have an opportunity, right, to see and witness women backbiting, right? Don't be a part of it, right? Be the one to be like, okay, maybe that's not the best way to go about it, right? Maybe this is not, you know what I mean? Why do you even feel comfortable saying this around me is the first thing you should probably be saying to yourself, right? But like, secondly, like, now that is out there, let me give you a little education. Let me help you. Let me give you a little wisdom. Now you're pouring something into them that probably the next time that they go out to speak negatively about another woman or about another person or about another situation, now they probably have that little note, that little nugget in the back of their mind that, you know what, I gotta give grace. And so my thing is to don't always be here for the gossip. Don't always be here for what's going on. What's the tea, right? That's what it is now. It's the tea. What's the tea, sis? Right? And gossiping about the next woman and the next woman and the next woman and all of this other stuff. But instead, take a stand back and be like, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't be talking about this young lady right now. Maybe we shouldn't be talking about this young man. Maybe we should be praying for them. Maybe we should be uplifting them, right? So taking that step when that stuff, when those opportunities come to you.
Let's wrap up with this one. Since Passion kind of took us there, we're dealing with the younger ladies. What are some skills and traits and lessons that we can pass on? And she already kind of took us there, that we can pass on to the next generation of women. When I thought about this, I thought about Logan and Winter and Ivy and all of the little kids we got running around there, the teenage girls that we have. What are some of the skills and traits and lessons that we need to pass on to them? And I want to encourage the audience to please share. Please share your thoughts.
Um, and this may not be a skill, but I sort of kind of think it is. I think it's lead by example. Because the life that you walk and the path that you take is an example, whether you're attempting for it to be that or not. In working with the mimes, I was very cautious of the fact that I was working with young kids who were impressionable, but specifically I was working with young men and young women. And so there was a certain level of respect that I gave them that they were required to give me, because I know that in the real world, you got to have respect. Um, I also I dressed a certain way, I walked a certain way, I talked a certain way. I would not allow them to talk any kind of way. Um, you use proper English around me, because in the real world, that's what you're going to have to do. Um, and even with the things that I went through, they saw me, mess up in school and um, fight to finish undergrad and then get into law school. And I never hid that ball from them. I think oftentimes we make things out to be real pretty, and it gives a false impression of what real life is. I told them flat out, look, I flunked out of college not once but twice. And in doing that, had to fight back. So these are the advice. This is the advice that I can give you so that your path is not the same as mine. And it required some transparency. It required some humility. But at the end of the day, because I did not want them to go through what I went through, the transparency had to be there. And so it's the example part. You lead by example, and I remember I used to always be into makeup, and now a couple of my kids are makeup artists. One young lady was like, she came to me and she was chubbier. She was like, I want to try out for the dance squad. She mimed, and I was like, well, go for it, do it. And she tried out. She made it by her singing year. She was the captain, and she saw me later. And she said, Dean, I would have never done it if you told me not to. We don't realize the effects, positive or negative, sometimes that we can have on this younger generation. And especially, I'm not going to just say it's for men, but we talk about women today. Um, Young women have it hard with everything that they see on social media that tells them that they have to alter who they are. They have to alter, how they look, you know, from bulimia to anorexia to overeating, all of those things, trying to morph themselves into what society tells them that they're supposed to be. There's got to be somebody to tell them the truth and is honest with them and transparent, and a safe space where they can feel like I can come and talk to you. um, because oftentimes they don't have it. They don't necessarily have it at home. You ain't gonna listen to your friends because y'all influenced by the same thing for the most part. Be that safe space for them too. And I probably am way off of the question, but that's what I have.
Um, I'll go. The things that I put down were honesty, patience, endurance, and long suffering, and loving people at the place where they're at. And with our young people, and especially like Dina has said something about how young people do have it hard because they are always being seen with images that reflect perfection, that shows that if you don't behave like this, act like this, looks like this, and if it's not relationship goals, then there's something that's wrong with you. And that there has to be a time frame in which you need to be rich, fabulous, and famous. All this is before the age of 21. God forbid you turn 30, your life is over. But one of the things that actually hit me as you were talking, it was the endurance and the commitment part, because our young people struggle with commitment when things get hard. They stop before they even start the race. And so, if that's one trait that I would want to teach our young women, is to not give up when things become difficult or situations arise that become challenging, the challenge doesn't mean that it's always opposition, but it's only to improve and sometimes to perfect you, to make you better. But I think with young people, a lot of times we think it's supposed to be easy. There's this I don't want to call it delusional, but there's this I'm not gonna say unhealthy, but there's this
It's both of those.
yeah, it's this expectation that young people sometimes have, that they think it's supposed to be, and there's this ideal fit pattern that's supposed to happen. And when those things don't happen, they have a hard time struggling with, how do I bounce back when it doesn't happen the way I want to? And so the trait that I want to teach them would be to be committed, to be faithful, and to get, and another thing, to be we always say this here on this platform, because we come from that type of teaching, which is to be teachable, meaning that I am open to receiving information that may not always necessarily be something that I like, but it may be beneficial for our good in the end. There's nothing more harmful when I get to a place where I think that I'm already there, or I know it all. And as teenagers always struggle with that. I struggle with that. You know, I said I couldn't wait to be an adult. If I could reverse the hands of time, I would play hopscotch. It's a lot of things I would do. I'd be like, Mama, I'm gonna just lay in this bed. I'm gonna get my sleep. It's a lot of things that, if I would have not been so busy trying to rush the process and just embrace this moment, because this moment is just a fleeting time. And there will be a time where will be that adult. But right now, enjoy this moment while you're there. Because once adult life gonna hit you in your eye, it's gonna hit you in your gut, it's gonna hit you in your back. Don't get married. That's another case that you got to be ready for. But again, I digress. Go ahead.
Um,
Adult is the worst hood ever.
Adulting is ghetto. I rate it 2
0 stars. 0 stars.
2 stars.
I'm just gonna add this with that piece you just said about being grown up. We fail to realize that we have more time in adulting than in childhood. We have way more time in adulting. And so when you just said that piece about the space of this is just a space and time, because you only get a little bit. Like, it's weird now if you are 37 and you out there jumping double dutch. Now that is just crazy, right? You hopscotching and all this weird. So we only get this.
First off, your bones won't let you do it.
Right. So I guess it's crazy.
I'm gonna be double dutching when I'm 37.
I don't know. But I just wanted to share that for the young people who are going to tune in when we share and like this show. Enjoy that space, because you only get it but for so long, and then it's gone.
Yeah, you only get it. Yeah, you're considered an adult at 18, so you only get it for 17 years, right? I would. This is the part of the segment where I wanted to highlight you all, because we're talking about things that we pass down from to women, and these are the things that you all have passed down to me. So I just want to let you know that us talking about this, we're not talking about it as it relates to people out in the world or out in our jobs. Like, right here on this platform, you all have done so much for me. Kiana, she said I'm her partner in crime, and that is so true. She is a woman that I can turn to, who is a praying wife, right? Who is a mother, who is a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, and I can go to her in so many ways, and I have, and I will, right, and continue to do that. And so the knowledge that she has given to me about being a praying wife, right, about how a wife's prayers are honored by God, right? You pray as a wife, and he gonna honor that, right? And so like that, those little nuggets. And then Shanita, like yesterday, I was having a day and I went around looking for Shanita. For those of you who don't know, Shanita is my boss. And we typically try to keep it very professional. But yesterday I needed my head missionary. And I went around looking for her.
When I finally got the message, I asked you if you needed me because I was ready to change hats. I really was.
I needed my head missionary. I didn't need my principal. I needed my head missionary.
I was ready. That's why I asked you, like, you good? And you
I was good at that point. I was good when you text me. But I pulled up to that parking lot and I said, oh, Jesus, let me pull out of the parking lot. Let me drive around real quick. I'm just going through. And I had to pray that thing off. But I went in there. And so like I looked to Shanita, right? As a leader, right? As a godly woman who knows how to usher and tarry in the spirit, who can break chains and different things like that. So when I was in that need, even though I didn't get it at that moment, I knew I can turn to her, and I know I can turn to her at any moment. There's been times we've been on that altar and it just breaks. And so that is something that you have poured into me. And so even in this regard, yesterday I had to do that for myself, right? And these are things that I've learned from you all. Dina, your heart, you give, like you are a giver, and you don't even understand, like, y'all, you're about to make me emotional. I don't like this. Like, you give. I turn around and Logan got new binkies. I turn around and Logan got new, you know what I mean? And it's just like, why are you like this? Like, why are you doing this? And she's a giver. And so that heart, right, is something that I want to take. And now when I go into my classroom and I'm like, oh, okay, I see my kid need a need here and this here and that. So these are all things that I'm getting from you all. And then Victoria, who's not here right now, right? She is a woman that goes after what she wants, right? And that's inspiring and that's influential. And so each and every last one of these women have poured into me, and I wouldn't be the woman that I am today if it wasn't for each and every last one of them. I love them. They are close to gold to me. You mess with them, you're gonna have to deal with me and Logan. These are my friends. These are my sisters. We are bigger. Like, y'all don't even understand how much I love these women. So that's my portion. But in saying all of that, that's what you all poured into me. And because of that, I'm able to pour into the people that God have placed in my life. So what I want to encourage people to get is to get a relationship with God. You get a relationship with God early. He will make ways so that you can have people like this in your life. Because the thing about it is, God is going to always send the people that you need. And that those people that you need may not always be the people that you might necessarily want, right? Not probably the person in the designer bag or whatever it is. It might be the person who just wears the regular, basic pumps. And that's okay because she got a word. And that's okay because she know how to pray. And that's okay because she's a good wife. And that's okay because she has a good heart. It doesn't matter what it is. And so when you get a relationship with God, he will make those things available to you. And so in having that relationship with God, you also, not saying you won't struggle. You will struggle. But I tell our youth all the time how privileged they are because they know that their friends are dealing with depression, suicidal thoughts, and different things like that. And they're privileged because they have parents who know how to tarry, who know how to break those things down. Those other students out there, those other kids out there, they may not have that. So having that relationship with God will allow them to be able to have that knowledge and be able to foresee the other things like that. Okay.
Say it, Lola. Say it.
I don't even want to go because I think that was absolutely beautiful. And I think she ended on the note that is above all, teaching our next generation how to have a relationship with Christ. I'll speak for all of us because I know we all feel this way. This that Passion just poured out and laid out is not something you set out to do, right? You're just trying to live for Christ and do your best in hopes that you make it in hopes that he'll say, well done, in hopes that what I'm doing is pleasing in his sight. You never know that you're going to get a moment like this. And so I just thank you. I thank you for being honest. I thank you for being transparent, because this is real life. And the stuff that she was saying is real Christendom. Like that's the real Christ-like walk that we have today. It is not fancy fanfare. It is the fact that in my work day, I would have come out to the car and we would have went in, or in a classroom, wherever we had crossed paths, it would have went down, or the conversation, whatever it is. This is what we are to each other, and it's the same thing that we want to be to the world. And so that's the heart of a saint, right? And truth is, if we tie it back to this title, this is also the heart of a woman, because who else goes harder for the family and the children and everybody else but that mom? Not putting dads down, but that mother. If you got a mother in your corner, you could be wrong as two left shoes, and your mama will step right on out there and defend you and take you in that house and whoop your butt afterwards. But she is not. But she gonna be right there. She gonna show her face every single time. I can't tell you how many mothers I deal with who know their kids are absolutely horrible and rotten to the core at this present time. Passion, am I correct? But when you call them, they come. And it's like, I know, Miss Walk, I know. And I'm like, Mom, and I know. And I have literally told them, like, Mom, this is not a reflection of you. Because we carry so much as women and we do so much as women that sometimes that weight on your back will make you feel like you're a failure. And you're not. You're not. Passion, you are doing it. I don't care what attacks the enemy try to send you. You are doing it. And whether you see it or not, we are all doing it and fighting and struggling and walking this path just like you. And the awesomeness of God is that we all look like we got it together to each other. So like nobody sees the struggle of one another, even though I'm battling on the inside. The awesomeness and the anointing of God will make it look like, oh, she just got it so together. And everybody, and all of us is.
You ain't never lied.
All of us are what you're doing. That's the word, right? That's what the Bible say now.
Grace.
Right. It's His grace and His mercy. And so don't ever let the enemy beat up on you. Always, always, always put back to him the word of God, who says who we are. We are women. He took the time to make us. He formed us. And then he put some things in us that was different than what he put in man. As you said, the prayers of that wife. And so I just want us to leave out of here loving one another, encouraging one another, and proud to be women. Because not everybody gets the opportunity to be a woman. Amen. I'm done. I just want to say real quick, don't you ever send me a secret text about my hand. Y'all don't know Kiana, I'm telling you. Y'all do not know Kiana, but I just want to say, Kiana, don't you dare send me not another time ever in life a text about my hand on the word of mouth screen.
You having problems getting off mute?
I
Oh, there
am
she go.
on this phone. Crazy phone. Now your hands do be all in the way. That'd be like all right here, just in it. Man.
Kind of like yours right now, right?
See what the enemy tried to do? He tried to snatch that beautiful word that the head missionary gave. But God is always faithful. And with that being said, we would like to thank you all for tuning in for tonight's show. Influence. What was the name of our show again? Power of Influence. So we want to thank you all tonight.
It's at the bottom of the screen.
For the show. Listen, we are multitasking women. So when we do have issues or technical, issues like this, we still bounce back. And with that being said, if you want to hear more information about us and to know who we are, you will want to come visit us at True Light International Ministries at 1257 North Klein, Griffith Avenue. So if you're in the Chicagoland area, or if you just want to visit Indiana, if you're on the West Coast or international, because that's what I'm speaking about, word of mouth. If you want to come visit us, come see us, because we have a phenomenal man and woman of God, Pastor Scott Jefferson and his lovely wife, co-pastor Yvonne Jefferson. They not only teach and preach the word, but there's revelation, information, and transformation. And that only comes when we apply and we are obedient to the word, because nothing just happens for free. And so with that being said, tune in with us every Sunday at 11 a.m. sharp on Facebook Live. We are in person and also virtual. So if you like to tune in, come see us then. Also, we have a 10:30 Bible study every Sunday. Is it 10 o'clock or 10:30?
Sunday school.
Sunday school, yes.
Sunday school is at 10 a.m. sharp.
All right, so 10 a.m. sharp. Remember, don't remember the 10:30. It is 10 a.m. sharp. And we have our Wednesday night service. That is at 7 p.m. every Wednesday. This is in person. Please come out to see us. This will not be recorded. So if you want to hear that in-depth word of actual teaching, you need to come to this word, because this is something that you don't want to miss. These are the nuggets, the true saints. I shouldn't have said that, but you want to come get this word. And with that being said, also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Do not forget, if you are not a Facebook person, or you know somebody who does not like to do social media, they can always go to YouTube. You can follow us there, True Light International Ministries. Any word from word of mouth or what's going on with our ministry, teaching and preaching, that's also on there. Instagram. Yeah, we on every platform. So with that being said, we just like to thank you all again. Our women Bible study is every other every other Monday, 2nd and 4th at 7 p.m. And our youth ministry. All right. You see this one right here, me and this one. Youth leaders, along with our husbands, every Monday at 7 p.m. Bring your children out, because they need this. It's not just us babysitting. It's not just us playing, because what you may not need today, you're going to need it tomorrow. And what I've also realized with this, and I don't want to take up too much time, is that ministry, especially working with the youth, doesn't stop once they graduate high school. You will have long-lasting relationships with these kids in adulthood. We know for a fact, all of us personally have been with these children to see them from this to here as adults, and they still require that same amount. But if they have nobody to turn to, can't say nothing. So with that being said, we pray about this. Father God, we just thank you for tonight's word about power of influence, Lord. Let this word be a word for today, for those that are influential, or those that need somebody, God, in their life, a man or a woman of God, that you send, God, to help them with direction, Father God. We also thank you for our pastor and our co-pastor, his children, his grandchildren, his great-grandchildren, with long life, good health, and success. And we also pray for the body and those listening here as well, for long life and good success. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Bye, everybody.
Bye.